brought the economy on its knees. Adama e bankota ala economy aya puntum pantang fosai anyoita simfulola. Kodun woni topic hande kodun woni topic. How Barrow mismanaged the economy. Right? Not a long life, but very short. When Adama Barrow took over, Adama Barrow bumjele rewmi, the dollar say was about 40 something to the dollar. Right now, how much is the dollar say to the dollar? Right? Every student is a tutor and every tutor is a student. So I pose you the questions, you answer to me, and I will analyze it. After the economy bi boom demee ba léegi daal dara desut si Adama Barrow xam na ne fail na already. You know what he's doing? Mu ne dafa camouflage. Barrow is camouflaging the whole country. Bi dama la video bi am na lu ko inspire. Demba dama day doxantu dama da, you know, xam nga as a politician foy taman. So kunumbe tamana ning emus dolle benta. You know, and I was trying to they know me. They nyinin kaka sign political benyadi. Yeah, they know I moved on. For the sake of the country, 2026, to deny Adama Barrow a third term, the UDP is Gambia's best option. So, guy like man, you know, Nakala, Madeline Holland, to break it down for them, I said that Adama Barrow, in 2021, he has, in his asset declaration at the IEC, Adamako, he has 200 million in his account. 200 million. That's another story. But everything in economics is linked. 200 million, 5 years into the presidency. 10 years into the presidency, extrapolate wobekela jolleti ning ayatara million keme fula wole bala adamala bank account okono in 2021 jolle bije sign. Every student is a tutor and every tutor is a student. I give you the question, answer it. He will make a declaration in December 2026, inshallah. But the Barrownomics, you need the economy analyze. Like, if you want to analyze an economy, you look for few things. In other countries like America or Europe or Rwanda or Senegal or anything, the first one, economic employment or unemployment. More carefully, what is the unemployment rate? Adama Jaruta like that. The back way is the unemployment rate of the Gambia. The back way is the answer to what is the unemployment for the Gambia. Bobu back way, Moko answer. There is no job in the country. Inflation, number 2. Walam fulanjanti. Bagasi nagalande deme. Inflation, you know, ask for the rent. Go to your neighbor and ask for the rent. Ask your neighbor. Cash power. That's inflation. Jarud Malaja. Mani Boto. Nyimbango Gambi, cash power, money boto, rent, luas, will be mo killing net. Cash power, money boto, luaso. Fopko got. Seller mentions. So, unemployment, inflation. two key fundamentals. So Adama Barrow, Barrownomics have lost control of inflation completely. Barrow has lost control of inflation completely. Why? Because of rampant spending. Because of uncontrollable discretionary expenditure. Nimman sakunda ma blomuta go Adama avoy puntum pantang way kono kono le wati puntum pantang way kono kono le wati hani fantang ma wati sako furunde to puntum pantang the economy, you are going to suffer the consequences when you borrow money. And Adama Barrow is the biggest borrower in Gambian history. Nye Jawara ning Yaya Jammeh kafunyoma. So bole Jawara ag Yaya Jammeh. Borbu gay jël in 50 years, mom la Adama Barrow jël in 9 years. Or more than that. Adama Barrow nyama do ka undisclosed loans. Mko ni Adama Barrow je ndela nga fale record this video and mark it, screenshot it. When Adama leaves, the undisclosed loans will be so much that you won't even believe it. It will be another market in Senegal. Dafa neka kom market Adama subaye undisclosed loans. Loans yo hamne ken hamut nakala del. Dafa gena upper the percentage bu market gel in Senegal. Undisclosed loan. Momung la wane Yaya Jammeh had undisclosed loans when he was leaving. But I am telling you, Adama Barrow will have more undisclosed loans by the time he leaves power. So let us talk about the disclosed loans. Lo hamne ñep gis nañ ko. Yimbe fobbe yimo. $1 billion says. About that, Adama Barrow in 9 years. Yaya Jammeh DK Jawara in 50 years, 1 billion. Alajibe. Jawara and Jammeh, 1 billion. Dollar. Me dollar le mat, dollar lay wax ni. Adama Barrow mom kena 1 billion. 50 years, 1 billion. 9 years, 1 billion. Lolu luta mu important mota ñu dem bansang di len woné konko bi. Wala tinne nga konko itanda le katu ni Adama Barrow ko ate 1 billion ne donto in the puntum pantang economy. O 1 billion o men ate ya donto. That 1 billion wani Yaya Jammeh ning DK Jawara la 1 billion or a kanyant in 50 years. Oto Adama nyanta Gambia be silo dadala from kum to kum amanke sila chok bari Jammeh anin Jawara ye silo dadala kabrim banjun katong fokoina. Yaya Jammeh katong fokoina. Ese obe pasamas. Jawara nyole konkolte. Adama Barrow 1 billion puntum pantang. So Yaya nga start dame $200 million in his account in 2021. How much is in his account now? Is what we want to know. Ko jolly one account mo Adama Barrow. Johnny. Abe Barrownomics is what we're talking about. It's not going to be a very long life. It's going to be short and brief. Right? As we said, Mbakuli Kane. Yes, going live. But holiday, and we are utilizing the holiday. Right? The NPP government must come down in December 2026. Manglena wa nakalagay mismanage economy be. So from my Johlen Foundation, hamga economics we make a steps la. Jani ba fila ika kobile. Nia kobi. Yena jahase. Yena fi waranto ya tutu. Nia fi waranto ya tutu ya binde. Nia binde ya kumali. Nia kumali ya so. Nia so. Ya kafunyoma ya konsimbara. Nia konsimbara. Yeboje yeta ya sunso. Nia sunsu yena ya busa, nia busa ya fi ya fe, nia fe ya soliboto kono yeta ya la baskilo kang. Economics fanambe ole nyama. One cause and effects. One thing leads to another. imam men fii li nga xam ne jiwuloo ko boobu doo ko mun a buddi economics ba wala ñaama. So when you play with the economy, you cannot control it. So you watch the balances between the factors. When you pump money into the economy without a productive base, you are inviting inflation by force. Magic te Adama Barrow Bunu. There is no magic in economics. There is no magic with Donald Trump. There is no magic with the Prime Minister of the UK. When you do this, this must happen. When you pump money into the economy without a productive base, inflation will go up. When inflation goes up like it is doing here, you got a problem. Livelihood becomes difficult. Go. MMF wala ka falling. Linga G mode saha. So when Barrow comes and thinks that the banks belong to him, the banks, I'm a banker. That was why one of the first things in my professional career, a banker. I was an investment banker. That's what I studied. And I practiced it. Ningambia Nolma Adama Barrow Bondijang, the economy can collapse anytime. And then he will turn back and say, Listikar. So what I am trying to say, the economy, the production must go in line with the money supply. If you keep on pumping money into the economy, like he's doing, if there is political interference in the banking sector, it's very wrong. It causes a lot of problems for the country. Already, $50 million on you, amanke wale atina nko the Adam Barrow is interfering in the banking industry. Now, that's dangerous. But that's not the first time. We already know the special loans Yemel arranged at the central bank without any transparency. Nothing about the economics of Barronomics is transparent. Lack of transparency is dangerous for the Dalasi. Lack of transparency is dangerous for winning investor confidence. So this is not the first time that NPP government and the Barrow government is interfering with the finance or the banking industry. Mbadi ma bua sedi, mawadi sedi lakadia, mawadi sedi, bua sedi. Right? As a public servant, I don't like to address, but I hope you're listening. The only thing I want bua sedi and others to do in this country is that let them know that everything in banking is on record, everything in finance is on record. We investigated Yaya Jammeh after 22 years, and I was at the heart of it. I was at the heart of the investigation of Yaya Jammeh. And you see what I can tell you, what I learned? Every transaction that happened, Feoverendi Yalonko Aketa Yaya Jammeh transaction, not every, but most of the transactions, particularly those that went through the banking system, everything was on record from 1994 to 2016. You cannot erase financial transactions. You don't have the power to do that, Mr. President. Yaya Jammeh didn't have the power. Adam Itafana, you don't have the power to erase it. That's the one. That's very important to note. So when I talk to public servants, I don't like to mention them, but when I talk to public servants, like governors of central bank, directors, I tell them everything you do, whether you know it or not, 99% is on record somewhere. So when the Janet Commission, when the governor of the central bank come to the Janet Commission, Mr. Colley or something like that, and there were several governors that came to the Janet Commission. All the governors that served between 1994 and 2016, they came to the Jana Commission, all the governors of central bank, all the governors of central bank that served between 1994 and 2016, they all came to the Jana Commission. And you see, the story is simple. Oh, they asked me to do this. They gave me an instruction. Therefore, I applied. They gave me an instruction to give millions of dollars to particular businessmen without going through the due process, without putting yourself on record as a governor of a central bank. You just go ahead. No, even if Mamadi is not here or dead in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, somebody is going to find it out. It's going to be on record that you have given facility, banking facility, based on political reasons, without any financial judgment. You gave out the loans. It's on record. And as a public official, that's a warning. You cannot erase the trail of financial transactions. So when you are a public official, it's important to take note and to be careful, to make sure that whatever financial transaction you do, no matter how much you hide it, one day it will be in the open and your children will be there. The whole world will be there. That's the lesson I learned from the Janet Commission about public officials and financial instruction. So Barrownomics, Jamo kana jamfa, Barrownomics, interference into the financial industry or into the banking industry. We know about the loans in this, is it the Zoom Bank that was sold? That's another story for another day, because Zoom Bank appeared in the Janet Commission. That there were some non-performing loans and there were problems with the bank. How in a bank, a public bank, transition from that stage to private ownership is another story. But that's not the focus today. That's just a small part of the story, the economy, the Barrownomics. How Barrow is putting Gambia's economy on fire. So man lena wax ne gis ngeen ne moom dalasi bi mënu ko control, cost of living bi mënu ko control, unemployment bi bagwe bi mënu ci dara. If 1,000 people go on backway, there are 10,000 young men on the streets of Combo, on the streets of the West Coast, on the streets of CRR, on the streets of Basse without jobs. It's sad, because economics tells you, MMF walaka falling, when you have massive unemployment of young people, like the Gambia, social problems will definitely emerge from that. Ngoy men konsimbara e buko sunsu. Si tay golle wala. Yimbe ono hono wada. What are they going to do? Lan ndaw yi buna def su fekkee ne liggéey amut. So len laajee ñoom ñu ne la liggéey amut. But then they are children, they know what they're doing. Out of the government position, out of the tax money we pay, they get overseas medical treatment. Children go to foreign schools, boarding schools abroad. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with sending your children to foreign schools or whatever. But when you are paid by the taxpayer, when you are in a public position, it's our business. So Barrownomics, we don't want to lose focus. Interference in the finance industry. One thing leads to another. Economics is about cause and effects. Cause and effects. If the government interfere in the banking industry, the banks carry what is called political risk. Political risk means that the bank is exposed politically in a way that the performance of the bank could be affected by political factors. That is what they call political risk. So banks try to eliminate political risk. in the laws of the Gambia, banks are not supposed to carry political risk in the central bank money regulations and the money laundering and all those regulations, beautiful regulations that Boasedi and others have at the central bank. Political risk. So they may Gambia, so they may see bank be pulling up ubi account. Right now, you can try it. I was a banker, I know what I'm telling you. So they may bank pulling up ubi account for an association, call it Mamadi and Associate, Abedula, right? That association, they go to the bank, has a regulation. They have a checklist. They're gonna look at those checklists. Is Mamadi a risk factor? Account opening be oda manamare. Imam dotoro ke follow. Ibe account ole yele account. According to central bank regulation, ibe account ole yele. When you are a politician, for example, it's an association or a company. The bank ba mark laleko, ning account as a political risk because Mamadi or Baisonko is a politician, and then they want to open an account, they will mark it. Red light. Just to open an account is a red light for a politician, right? That's the banking law, right? Then what we said is, how about natara konchuvegene ubi account, right? Sitaiko ubi account tunga fala. You want to only open an account. Bank bi mune political risk den ko assess. Kon malaj la. Su vegene danga buga lep ci bank bi in Gambia and you are a politician. When they are going according to due process, mom la mean. Su vegene bank bi mu nge def due process according to the book. And they should do it according to the book. Because in the Jana Commission, we saw so many banks flouting financial regulations. Financial institutions flouting finance regulations. The first dull in the Jana Commission. The Jana Commission is full of stories of banks and financial institutions flouting money laundering regulations, flouting financial regulations. So I'm telling you, as a politician, when you go to the bank to borrow money, right, there is supposed to be, the bank is supposed to tick to say that Mamadi is politically exposed and he wants the loan. He wants a loan. You get what I'm saying? Comme Mamadi mom politician la, te mu ngi buga jël bor ci bank bi lolu ci loi bi la. Dañ ko assessé nonu, te mun nañ la reject because as a politician, why political risk? Because if that politician now comes to power or is already in power or is connected to somebody in power, that person, when it comes to time to pay the loan, can use political influence to avoid meeting the regulations, to avoid paying. Ngam fata walam ni ko political risk at the bank. Walam nyinti ko nim politician we afan dundi business auto atata kodo fu banki. Banki nyanta jalale ko nim politician is politically exposed. And then this can affect the loan. Ngo banki manke bank manager tati de. Wa kay li na kay ma leral ko fi, bank managers you dey fogg ne bank bi ñom sen boss la. Ñom ñoo dey flout laws bi. That's illegal. It is illegal for the bank managers or for the bank management to pretend that they own the bank. The bank is owned by the depositors, 1. 2, the citizens. Every bank is owned by the depositors and the citizens. Why? Because the depositors' money, mom la guy they jël diko flip around. 2, the security that we give them as taxpayers. Without our police force, the banks will close. Without the army, the banks will close. So we pay the army, we pay the police so that they can secure the banks. So every bank, in one way or the other, belongs to the citizens. And then the fact that deposit, we can move over a deposit. Waxuma ñu dee jël si nguur mi di ko def ci banque bi de ñoo xam ne dañoo nekk ñaami na fële jaay seen gerte liggéey ko besona ñëw dugal ko ci banque bi ñoom ñoo moom banque bi. So Barrow moomut fi benn banque manager moomut fi benn banque jëndan jaay yi ñoo moom banque si waaw benn banque manager moomut fi benn banque benn central bank governor moment with Ben Bank. Bua said he don't own the central bank. Even Adam Barrow don't own the central bank. Why wahuma central bank visa? Money. The commercial banks do not belong to the managers. Money. The commercial banks do not belong to the board of directors. The commercial banks belongs to the depositors. Because bank bi soko hole, the assets of the bank, then lane 1 billion. 1 billion bobu nonu, shareholders si, ñom hejna 10% rek lañ ci def, right? The deposits, the loans, ñun ñu dee fay interest ak ñun ñu fa deposit, ñun ñoo make up that 90% of the 1 billion. The banks belong to the people. The banks of a country belongs to the people. So banking confidence is important. Lolu mo data political risk, they advise all governments around the world, don't play with the economy. Politicians should not interfere into the banking sector. Them si bank manager bi, because danga harito mom, nga nek a politician, or you wanna do them small favor, or kay ñu defaral la tuti favor rek, maybe give you a tax waiver, or something like that. Or soon guy dañoo ñëw ñu leb si. Let encourage the women to form associations. Encourage the women to prepare books of accounts. Encourage the women to set up good structures. When they have good structures, they can go to any bank as an association or microfinance and borrow money. But when the politician puts his hand into the banking sector, investor confidence more than them. A serious investor looking at a country where the government or the president is interfering in the banking, the investor will know that this country, the financial institutions are influenced by the politicians. How will I take my clean money from America and put it into that economy? Maybe if I am a citizen, yeah. But what about if I am not a citizen? I am just an investor sitting online, studying about the Gambia, coming and doing due process, looking at the bank financial statements before I make an investment. So limo, the dangerous thing about the Barrownomics. That is why we said interfering in the economy, right, is a bad decision by the Adam Barrow government. So, of course, giving loans is not a problem. Mune Adam mune mo beto lebije melia lonko wolebe interest o jola. Maimuna balde nata go I think the speaker or somebody ngaje saferimbi Tunkara majority leader ako nyaadi la van Adam Barrow lebe kododi la. Maimuna balde nata ko banki lebe kododi la. They are interfering with the bank. They are playing with the bank. By now, the bank should have come up with a statement, or the financial institution, but we know what we know, right? We know what we know. That is interference. It's a dangerous thing, right, for an economy. So today, what we came to tell you is just to give you a highlight. Like I tell you, this is Bimoisun median naka our median live program. We're going to be coming constantly to tell you more. We are going to get more details about this loan scheme as much as possible. I hope that there are journalists who will go out there and interview the bank, let the bank give their perception, and interview the women who are taking the loan, let them give their perception, right? Naga na journalist dem si bank bi kuy joxe xaalis bi ñu laajte ko na bank bi wa dëgga nit yi seen xaalis moo dee nekk si bank bi. No bank has a right not to talk. They must talk, right? Because people's deposits are there. So you have to tell us, what are you arranging? What is it? You are accountable. Every bank is accountable to the taxpayer. Every bank is accountable to the taxpayer. Why FIMOM ngaku jamale majam, right? I spoke about the loan schemes. right? We spoke about a little bit about this, that we are going to find out more details about this loan scheme. We are waiting for journalists to do the necessary due process. But in summary, Adama Barrow, a Gambia Economist tale sign, ayaka bulokono, and what dangerous tale, because near bulokono, you will not be able to control the Dalasi. The Dalasi is on a free fall. Investor confidence is zero. When the government interferes in business illegally or unprofessionally, it erodes investor confidence. When investor confidence goes down, then you know, when investor confidence goes down, unemployment is the order of the day. People cannot get jobs. When factories are not opening, how are you going to get jobs? When the factories don't open, how are you going to get jobs? So that is a problem. Adama Barrownomics is not providing a solution. Ne could provide one solution. Adama Fero Fereledi on how to reduce inflation. Instead, atakamen kefa wolka inflation o jawi angele. Adama Barrow ala fere on how to reduce unemployment. Sukabe o ala golle. Ko bagwe tungwoni do Gambia ro. Ko bagwe tungwoni do. So Adama California lewa like Adama buma dege muy wax Burfoot is Dubai. I don't take it as a joke. I take it as a magic. He wants to spin us. That Gambia, you can come and get medical treatment in RVH. Next door to Adama, do they visit RVH? Mune mom def de listi car mu ham Banjul incubator yi nakala one land more solution of the incubator. So now you see, Adama is going into Fopatuta Yalumbang. Neo, your president, boy, we put you there and you swear to the Quran that you will be loyal to the country, loyal to the law, loyal to the citizens without fear or favor. Fear or favor. Without fear or favor. Adama Ekali ako without fear or favor. Now he's organizing a loan at the bank and he's discriminating women. And he said without fear or favor. I swear to the Holy Quran without fear or favor. That's the presidential oath. And fear or favor, Adama, fear or favor, but you are now favoring some people because they belong to your political party. Did you swear to the Quran or you swear to the NPP constitution? Did Adama Barrow swear to the Quran or to the NPP constitution? Barrownomics is the question for the day today. Is going to be a short live, very short live, right? As you know, we have so many things to do, right? We're looking forward. All the Arsenal fans here, Abdullah. Barrow must come down. IG, right? He said Barrow is very worrying. Moitulen Adama. Because he is talking about so many things that are dangerous. He's talking about black magic. Akaka listikaro like to know the incubators. A president who swear to the Quran. Gambia is Dubai. Mbur Dakar. Ngal monta Mbur. Jang. You cannot compare it to anywhere in Gambia to culture. Because the Senegalese have decided that it is Gambia, not the president. It is Senegal, not the president. Abdou Diouf, Macky Sall, Abdoulaye Wade, Diomaye, Senghor, one president after the other. We love the country. In Senegal, we love the country, not the president. No matter what he is, whether he's from Kurankunda or he's from Nyamina or he's from Basse, it doesn't matter. It is the country. After 10 years, Senegal, you must go. Hanga Adama gàcce la su fekkee ne ñëw na fi mu ne Brufut dafa mel ni comme Dakar waaye Gambia fii fan moo mel ni comme Dakar xam nga loolu boobu dañoo xam ne waa ji a bota sino la le say ba ako Brufut ning Dakar le kamulum a bota be je kan bari Dubai I tell you, that's black magic. He's playing on our mind. Yeah, Adama is playing black magic on our mind. Okay? Umpatutayalde. Burfut to Dubai, umpatutayalde. So, Adama, we are saying that we, the Gambian people, know what is happening. So, my conversation with the ladies I met yesterday, when I explained to them the wealth of the president is so rich. He's so rich. He's so rich that he lives in his own Dubai world. Adama, his mind is what is Dubai. He's building a mansion. In all the mansions he's building, they look like Dubai. His life he's leading is the life of Dubai. Mom Sheikh la Sheikh. So he tells you your country looks like Dubai. For many Gambians, you know what they say, right? Make them believe. Make them, Gambians are angry. Kabada legi so fa deme guy ñu ne Adama era mu ne so inde ceeb rek ñun baax na léegi de yaa mooy la de men nani mo de men nani ma Adama yimbe men nani ma mais andi feere o a buri kalis Adama buri kalis you have a lot of money 200 million in 2021 Johnny ko joli ko dum mi faale andi léegi bari nga xaalis de Adama yeah Barrownomics. We will come, and as we do Barrownomics, you'll hear a lot of stories from the Janet Commission also. Because the Janet Commission has already investigated the whole economy. Not everything in the whole economy, but a summary of the whole economy. So as we talk, we will be talking about those things. And then we will talk about the mismanagements of Adama Barrow constantly. Buy Sonko, shout out, shout out, shout out. It's a short program, right? Now live. Yeah, prepare your questions because this one, the professor has just come to give a small talk with the students. As we say, every student is a tutor, and every tutor is a student. Right? We will continue to learn. Barrow must come down. I don't go into politics to look for money or look for position. No. I went into politics. Just like how I went into teaching. I went into teaching to change lives. Not for money. I'm a chartered accountant. In the Gambia, chartered accountants don't teach. I'm one of the first chartered accountants to teach full-time. They go and work in banks. My students work in banks. I can work in a bank anywhere in the world. I didn't go into teaching for money. I didn't go into politics for money. So, but for the country, for the Gambia, to make sure that there is no third term in this country, to save the country from the dangers of Adama Barrownomics. I'm not to conclude, pour moi conclude fait. Mon Adama Barrow, lalla fi def. yaa jome di nga mun a gis lii la def Jawara def na lii mu ne Adama Barrow lan la def man sax maa ngi xalaat ma ne ko man koo xalaat ba tey lan la fi def OIC bi Jawara Jammeh moo ko commencé OIC bi say all the roads in Serekunda dañ ko waroon a defar they don't do it so he didn't complete the project OIC ba tey completed when it should have been completed 6 years ago. So, munema Adama Barrow lan la fi def ma ne ko am na ci account am 200 million léegi xam naa dina nekk 1 billion waaye xoolal nit ki su jëlee xaalis booy bem fees mu ñëw si bantaba bi si ataaya bi bugut ne ngeen xam ne dafa capte soo leen ko laajee njëgi ataaya def leen a indil benn $5 bu màgget mu ne leen jël leen bi ndoog mu mel ni moo gën a strand Adama loolu la nekk di def nag waaw boo leen ko laajee ataaya wala lee mu ne leen boy yéen xamu leen sax boy supermarket bi boy so loo leen lu leen ne ngeen jël ko foofu demal si supermarket bi rek Adama mu ngi wax gaay ne Brufut is Dubai incubators mom dafay listicar. Gambia, we are in a serious problem. A man who swears to the Quran is making jokes all around the country. A man who swears to the Quran, Adama alamanke mo sana umatide. The man who swears to the Quran to rule over 10 people is in a dangerous situation. The man who swears to the Quran that he will, without fear or favor, between 3 million people, Adama alamanke mo sanauti. You swear to the Quran and you are going around the country making jokes. Kumun sa morom dumal. Yow yangi amé sun et bi. Yangi amé sun fetel bi. Yangi amé sun commander chief bi. Yangi dox ci dekk bi di wax ne kumun sa morom dumal. You have the army, you have the police, and you are saying kumun sa morom dumal. Ala adama jibe ba. Ala chorus. Kumun sa morom dumal. We gave you the army. We gave you the police. We gave you the treasury. We gave you all the powers. And you are saying, Kumun Samoram Dumal. Disrespect to the Gambian people. UDP. Before, Janimbe Sauna UDP, NPP bukang attack. Wasayo kay ngajale NPP. Nana dalo vedla beto iba buntana dula beto. Abedula lade. Ma start full. Politico is just about to begin. Politics is just about to begin, Adama. Adama, we gave you the army. We gave you the police. We gave you the NIA. We gave you the ECOMOC. We gave you the treasury. We gave you free fuel. We gave you all the vehicles. And you are standing and coming facing us and saying, Kumun Samoram Dumal. Adama, we gave you the army. We gave you the police. We gave you the NIA. We gave you the vehicles. And then you are standing and then saying, Kumun Samoram Dumal. Adam Benjoni mo army. Benjoni mo police. Benjoni mo Kalisofop. Benjoni mo central bank. Benjoni mo auto-ofop. Benjoni mo essence. Adam Mendari mo wi Kumun Samoram Dumal. Dunko hondu. Adamo dunko hondu. Dunko hondu. Molye sojarol di adamala. Nga polisol diala. Nga NIA diala. Nga tax job. Hani minti fing sa ika tax jole. Hani minti fing sa ika tax jole. Mane kujanda min sa dafa pay tax. Ñu joko loli yep, joko halis, joko ay moto. Adamo mu ne dafa taxaw di wa Gambians ne Kumun Samoram Dumal. Yow ban doole nga am. Adama moo am doole na Yàlla moo am doole. Barrow Selung kojo pie kunoli kali bal nananga nyangola ngala sita Yàlla nyokanje mana jomambalamba dimbondi wati sita jomaringe